Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
This week we are going to be covering nothing at all. The end. Goodbye. No, but yeah, it's been busy weeks and stuff with stuff going on, and then just me out of my own selfishness when I have late nights and stuff, because like I went to a concert last night, and when I go to a concert I have to go to Dallas, which is like a 2-hour drive there, and then 2 hours back, and then I had to get up this morning and like go hang out with some kids at the school and do fun stuff there. And so I'm tired, and I was like, the last thing I want to do is sit and watch a movie and spend 4 hours taking notes on it. But we missed a week recording last week. You're just getting all kinds of behind the scenes stuff. As far as with Daphne's been traveling around and doing stuff. So been busy. So we already like missed a week. So like we have to record something, but I absolutely do not want to do movie prep. And so remember, like I think like last season we did an episode where we just talked freeform, catch up. And so I was like, you know what? Let's do that again. And we may sprinkle these when we get super busy, because like I've got some travel and stuff coming up this year for a couple different things. Like we've got like a big like full week of like events coming up in July, and then we'll be doing like Chicago at the end of the year, I think is a plan. And then I think I've got another vacation going up in like August. So like all kinds of stuff. So it's like we may just sprinkle these in from time to time when we'll just talk. So hopefully if you enjoy listening to this podcast for our voices and banter, then you'll enjoy these episodes as well, where we may not be breaking down a movie, but we'll just be talking about whatever's going on in our lives right now, kind of things we're doing, catch up, talk about whatever. And I've got some ideas. I guess really one idea that I might want to bring to the table on this episode as far as something to talk about that kind of has been its own episodes in the past, but this one's going to be a lot looser, but we'll see.
Okay.
When we get to that.
And I have no idea what he's talking about, so I guess we'll see with that. I've been busy, like last week as we're recording this, because you guys know that we record episodes in advance. I was in Boston for a week for the World Figure Skating Championships. I think I mentioned before, I am a figure skating photographer. I'm a photographer in general, but figure skating is my sport that I focus on. And so I was down there for the World Championships. It was a ton of fun. I got to see all of my friends from the skating community, and it went by very quickly. But I got to try some new gear. I usually shoot Canon, but I was able to get a loaned camera from Sony because they were on site. And so I tried out one of their cameras and lenses and had really a great time getting to shoot with a mirrorless camera because I've never done that before. So yeah, I was gone last week. We did release an episode because recording the feedback piece is, 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. Those are easy to do. But the time it takes to prep to record an episode is longer than I think maybe our listeners realize. I'm not sure. Because we have to take notes and come to the table with points. And sometimes it can take 3 or 4 hours.
The things I put myself through for you, the listeners, for your entertainment. Now, there are easier and better ways to do it, but I like to be thorough with stuff. Even if my notes are mostly all just jokes, I'm still thorough with my joke material. To where, like if I'm taking notes and I take notes and stuff on my phone, like every now and then, like if I feel like I'm in more of a time crunch or rush, I'll try to take notes while the movie's playing, but I don't like to miss stuff. So I'm pausing the movie and taking notes and then replaying it and the time it takes to, like, every time I want to jot something down, pausing, writing it down, then hitting play, it doubles the view time of the movie. So a 2.5 hour movie when we cover those long ones. That's why I give Daphne kind of a hard time sometimes when we end up with, like, near 3 hour movies, because I'm like, that's my whole day. That's 6 hours I'm sitting in front of my TV taking freaking notes. So
yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to put thoughts down, and like you said, pausing it so that you make sure you get your thought down without missing what's coming next.
Yeah.
It's especially more time consuming if it's a movie I haven't seen, because at least with movies I've seen before, I may not have to pause it because it's like, okay, I know what's happening here.
Yeah.
But if it's a new movie I haven't seen, like Heart Eyes, I have to pause it so that I can write something down. And it just takes time. We really want to, as Pake said, be thorough and bring information to the table and our thoughts and opinions. In order to do that, it takes time to prep for the episode. And so it's fun to do these special episodes every once in a while, because then there really isn't a lot of prep involved and we can just kind of talk about what's really going on.
I didn't have to watch a movie and take notes and do prep today. I got to catch up on Dimension 20 all day today. Yeah. So, again, my tabletop role-playing game nerdiness, watching Dimension 20 on Dropout, watching people play stuff. But there's pretty good stuff. I got to finish Never After, and then there's a new one that just dropped, the Titan Takedown. It's got WWE wrestlers playing D&D, basically, and that's really fun to watch. And I'm watching some Tiny Heist. A lot of good stuff. And then we've still been doing our Kids on Bikes. I think we've mentioned that on here before once or twice. As we're recording this, just wrapped season 2 of the first campaign over there, and that was really fun. I've had a blast doing that. And then my nerdy self basically took a whole album from a band that I really love, AWOL Nation, and made a concept from that album and, like, made a whole second season of our campaign based off of, like, the songs and lyrics of the songs and, like, how I interpreted certain things. And then literally we wrapped our, like, epilogue episode, and then 2 days later I was in Dallas seeing AWOL Nation tour that album, and that was really cool. So
yeah. What happened at the end of our first season, or our first, like, campaign, is we were all really attached to the characters that we created, and we weren't really ready to say goodbye to them. And so we had a discussion about what to do next and ended up deciding, let's do a season 2. And Pake was gracious enough to play into that and create this new threat that we were facing. And it was really cool to have it based on an album, because we could listen to the album and kind of gauge the story a little bit about where we were in the story. And so that was a lot of fun. But now we're getting ready to do a third campaign, basically. And we're going to have new characters. We're saying at least a temporary goodbye to the ones that we've been playing. And coming up with some new ones. Which is a challenge. I really loved my character from our first 2 campaigns. She was super, like, bold, and she was a leader. And so while I'm creating my character for our newest campaign, I'm trying to lean into some different things and you know, stretch myself in a different way, because it's easy to play someone that's similar to who you are as a person. It's a lot harder to play someone who's kind of the opposite of who you are.
Sometimes. I will say, just this is your first time foraying into that, as somebody who's played D&D for years, sometimes I don't know if I'd say easier, but I think it doesn't give me too much challenge sometimes to dive into a character that is vastly different than you in some ways, because then there's escapism to that also, where you'd be like, I don't even have to put my own, like, feelings about things or opinions or, like, personality. It's like I can fully immerse myself into just, like, this is somebody else. Of course, I don't know, even, like, a lot of the characters I play now are still, like, my character now is, like, friendly and musical. So like there's that, and then the character I played before that was just very smart ass and snarky and sarcastic, and I have that side of me too. So yeah, there's definitely still parts of me that I can include.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun too because one of the things that we play around with are like NPCs, which are non-playable characters, for anyone who doesn't know. You never know what non-playable character is going to take off and which one that us as the players are going to gravitate to.
I say technically non-player characters, but yeah. Same idea. The player characters, the PCs. And the non-player characters, the characters that I play as the GM, the game master. But yeah.
And this is why I should not be trying to describe this at all, because I don't know.
No, but it's fine. No, it's the terms are interchangeable, honestly. But it's just like, but there's that. Just like, because I mean, they are non-playable by you guys, except not anymore, technically, because spoiler alert, you guys are playing a one-shot.
We are.
You already will have played by the time this actually comes out for people to hear, where you and the other players are playing as the NPCs from season 1. So
we are. I still don't know who I want to play. I think it's understood that I would pick one specific character, but I don't think I'm going to. So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait until Monday and see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's been a ton of fun, and Pake's done a great job, like, taking us through it and teaching all of us newbies how to play the game. And it's a great escape, like, being able to jump into a character and really, for a couple of hours each week, be able to be someone else in a different place, and everything that's going on around you is kind of blocked out for that amount of time. And I think it's been a great escape, especially, the last 6 months. I think it's really been a lot of fun to dive into that. So we're not starting our new campaign until May, so I've got a little time to get into the headspace of the new character that I'm going to play.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and throw this out there. I haven't in like a lot of the threads and stuff, but if there are any of our listeners who are in the wider Podcastica Zheads fandom, and you are in the Patreon groups or the Facebook group and Discord and stuff like that. If you're interested in joining for like campaigns and one-shots and things, you know where to find me online. Hit me up. I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah.
We have such a fun group that gets together, and really, again, we were all first-time players as far as I knew, other than maybe Mark.
Yeah.
But we all learned a lot, like, by participating. And Pake was very kind to us in the first session. Things got serious in it, and it wasn't too bad. This last session, he was harder on us, and we had some scarier things going on. So, yeah.
Have to see what awaits in the future.
I know. I'm excited to see what you come up with. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm building some fun stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty much what my life says. Like, what do we talk about? Like, what have we been up to? And it's like my life has been pretty much, a lot of role-playing game nerdiness. I'm like, whether I'm watching it on Dimension 20 or putting together and GMing it with our podcasting sessions. So it's like, it's kind of all I've been, and then playing D&D regularly every week on my own with some local friends. So like, that's just kind of what I do right now.
Yeah. One thing I do every week on Wednesday, which is usually when Pake is doing D&D, is I go to pub trivia, and have been going to the same bar for this for like the last 9 years. And part of my team is the same for all 9 years. And there are teams that still come that were there before we started going there.
Local pub trivia culture in certain communities is some serious business.
Yeah. I'm a little competitive. That probably isn't a surprise to our listeners, but I'm pretty competitive, and I really enjoy my friends and just the team that we have. It's a lot of different knowledge bases. I think my favorite round, I know my favorite round is the audio round. It's music and I have a lot of music knowledge, especially from like the 80s and 90s and some 70s. And so I can get some of the deeper pulls that end up getting played. So it's awesome. But sometimes they play the music backwards, and that adds another element of insanity to it. But I really enjoy it. It's a great way to get out of the house and keep my brain active.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of trivia. I'm not smart enough for trivia. I'm like, no. I know a lot of random facts, but I don't know enough wide array of different topics of facts. My super nerdy and like what I know a lot of are in strictly niche, narrow places. I don't know enough about enough different things.
You don't know what you don't know. That's the thing. And you also don't know what you know when it comes to trivia, because honestly, our team has been pretty successful, and some of it comes honestly from me inviting the right people on the right night for the knowledge base, because we don't know ahead of time what the topics are.
Karaoke's more my like weekly pub activity scene, and I haven't done that in years, but I used to. There's a period of my life where it was for 5 or 6 years at least. That was just every single week of the same night, every week. Karaoke night.
Well, you said that you don't know enough about a lot of different topics, but when you came up here, you were on my trivia team, and we did something we had never done, and that was have a perfect game. Mm-hmm. We answered every single question correctly.
Yes, it is right. Your team in the 9 years you've been going, as you said, has never done it before, and you guys never have done it since. So.
We haven't.
Yeah, the one factor that was me being there, so I don't know. Maybe.
I guess you'll have to come back. I will tell you this. 3 of the last 4 weeks, we have carried a perfect game into the final round. And the general knowledge round has had at least one question that stumped us. So,
but I can't take credit for the perfect game, really, because no, the MVP of that night, in my mind, will always go to Randy, our friend Randy that was there that night. He had the pool that nobody else knew. Mm-hmm. Like he was the one that got the crucial thing that I think really solidified it.
Yeah, and Rinaldi, who was also there that night, has come. He usually comes 2 or 3 nights a month. There have been nights that he's known the answer to the sports question, and no one else in the place knew it. Mm-hmm. It's just, you just don't know what you know and what you don't know. And some of it really is luck. The team would be pretty solid every week. It was almost always the same people. But then when the pandemic hit, things fluctuated, and so now there's probably a core of like 4 of us, and then I rotate people in based on who I think would fit, round out the team well knowledge-wise. It's kind of an algorithm in my head. But getting back to karaoke, Pake, I did karaoke for the first time last October.
You did?
I did. We were at our podcast meetup.
To the shock and awe of everyone.
Well, I mean, was it shocking that I did the karaoke? Because I don't know that was shocking. Or was it shocking?
Maybe a little. But no, definitely song choice was the vastly more shocking part of that.
I really wish I had photos of a few faces.
Yeah, we may have talked about this on this podcast before. I don't know. But yeah, there was definitely the moment where I was like, you started singing, and I was like, I've had 1 drink, and I haven't had any weed as far as I am aware. And I was like, to where there's a part of me, I was like, am I stoned and don't know it? Like, because this isn't real. Daphne wouldn't be singing a country song at karaoke. That's not a thing that makes sense. So something's clearly wrong with my brain chemistry right now. I don't.
Yeah, I'd been sick the week before, and the song that I intended to sing was a different song, but I just didn't feel like I could pull it off because I had been sick. And so all I could think about was, I really want to do something because I've never done karaoke before, and I thought, I really want to. It's one of those things I've wanted to do. And so I just picked a different song, and the song I picked was Don't Be Stupid by Shania Twain. And again, I'm pretty sure our listeners know, I am not a country music fan. I'm really not. I prefer techno, honestly, or alternative music. I'm really not a country fan. And it just worked out that I had heard the song the week before and realized, you know what? I think I could sing this sometime. And so I got very brave. I had a margarita. Thank you, Amelie, if you're listening to this, for the margarita. And I did it. I was proud of myself for getting up there and doing it. I didn't just sing. I danced a little bit too. I had people I didn't even know that when I was walking off the stage that told me that I did such a great job. And I was just kind of okay, because I just am happy that I did it because I wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to do it for me. But then being up there and getting to see people's faces when I started singing and the surprise, it was great. It was worth it. You and Jeff, your faces in particular were what is going on? What is she doing? That can't be Daphne. She's not. Yep. Yeah. No, it was me. So, yeah, I did that. And now, we'll do karaoke again when we have the meetup, and I've got to think about a different song to do. I might do a few duets, at least one. So, think about it.
So, again, another Podcastica plug. If there's any listeners out there who are curious about stuff and you're not in the Podcastica Patreon group, you don't pay for the Patreon, you don't get access to some really cool stuff, including, I can give you the information that, she mentioned a meetup. If you want to see me and Daphne probably do karaoke and hang out and do other stuff and other hosts of Podcastica shows that you like, we'll be in Chicago in October, and so if you're in the Chicago area, we will probably infest some local karaoke place in your area.
We will.
But to get information on when and where exactly, you probably got to be in the Facebook group.
Yes. And you know what's cool? The last couple of years, we've had newer people that had joined the Patreon, in the last year or two. Every year, we get a few newer people. And so we're kind of becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And getting to meet people that we interact with, it's just tons of fun.
Yeah. It's cool when, it feels weird because, we're not a huge podcast by any means, really. But, there's been moments where I'm in places, like Boston and Atlanta and Philadelphia and different places where somebody will walk up to me and they know who I am. And then it's just then they're oh, I know you because I recognize your voice and your name from the podcast. It's that's insane to me. But I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. We have so much fun, recording these episodes weekly. But then the week that we all get together is kind of our chance to hang out with each other and do fun things. And so we picked Chicago this year. Still not sure exactly who's coming, but I think it's going to be a lot of the same people from last year with some additions. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. Chicago may never be the same. Yeah.
Love doing stuff. So always stay tuned when we talk about this stuff. Feel free, if you're in areas that we talk about doing trips and stuff in, send us a message and hit us up and maybe we can say hi at some point.
Yeah.
Mention, it's local for me, but I kind of mentioned we got a week of events. Me and Daphne will both be in Dallas for a whole week in July.
Yes.
So there's that. So there'll be some downtime and stuff to hang out and do something if you're in the area. I'm throwing this out there. I mean, I can't promise because I have lots of other stuff going on, but hey, I think I likely will be in Colorado in August. I think me and Riley are both going to get to knock off another Meow Wolf. I think me and Riley are going to try to hit up Meow Wolf Denver. I think I'm going to try to make that happen.
Wow.
But
you guys are going to Denver.
We're going to Breckenridge.
Oh, okay.
But Denver's hour and a half, hour 40 minutes from there, so I bet I can talk him into taking a little road trip down the way for the day to go hit up Meow Wolf. I'm pretty sure I can.
Well, he loved Meow Wolf Grapevine, so yeah, I'm sure he's gonna love the one in Denver. I mean, I haven't been to it, but I feel like some of the people in Zed Heads have.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's really popular. That's cool that you're gonna get to go on a little vacation. Usually you go on the cruise and you guys are cruise boys, so.
Yeah, cruise is fun, but cruises are still hot when you get off the boat in the summer. So we were like, we need to take a summer trip to a place to escape the heat, not go closer to the equator than Texas. So Colorado seems like a good summer trip to take, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You're going to have a blast with that. Yeah, we have that week. And then a couple weeks after, I'll be going to like Placid, New York, which is where I go every year. I've been going, except for some pandemic events that were canceled, I've been going there every year in July since 2003. So I'll be going to a figure skating competition there. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Get to see some of my friends there. July is usually the month that I take most or a lot of my vacation time, just because I usually am covering a couple of skating events, one in Dallas, but I don't think I'm going to cover it this year just because it falls the same weekend that we're going to be doing all of the other stuff, and so it doesn't really work for me to do it this year. But I will definitely be in Lake Placid 2 weeks later, so I look forward to that.
Yeah, so fun stuff. So yeah, trips, at least between us. Yeah, it's like Dallas, which I go to Dallas all the time, but for you, you'll be there. And then, I'll be in Colorado. We got Chicago coming up, so busy year.
Yep, and then November, I'm going to Henderson, Nevada, outside of Vegas, for the ice dance final that I usually go to, and I may go. Pake, I might go to Meow Wolf there if I can work it out.
You have the opportunity. I'd highly recommend it. I have not been to the Vegas one. I need to. But yeah, if you're close enough to venture to a Meow Wolf, do it. That's why I looked as like doing Breckenridge and Keystone, and it's like, okay, cool. How close is Denver to that? And I was like, an hour 40. I bet you I can make a day out of that if we have some free time.
Yep.
That can be done, and I think I should try to do that.
Absolutely. You have to knock off more of them. I wish we had gone to Meow Wolf when we were in Vegas a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But
really should have.
We were so busy. Like, it was a similar trip to what we're doing in July. There was no time. I mean, unless we got up early, and
that's not gonna.
No. Not when events go into the night. I mean, there's no way. It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Not going to do that. I don't do early. Unless I absolutely have to. No.
When we were in Galveston for the last podcast meetup, we rented an Airbnb for 4 of us, and 3 of us were up until 3 or 4 in the morning, sleeping till noon. One of us was not on that schedule.
And if anybody listens to Buffalo, I bet you could never guess which one of those it is.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. We love you, Jerry. We're just not morning people.
He's just not an iOS person. He screws up our group chats. So,
he really does.
You give and you take on different things. Some people just can't meet you.
The green bubble.
Yeah.
It's a disease. Yeah.
So I mentioned earlier doing something that I was like, we've made full episodes out of. And this is like a looser version. Because also one of the things we'll do sometimes when we need an episode that requires little to no prep is our look forward specials.
Oh boy,
so
okay.
I was just going to put you on the spot. So nothing specific that we had to put too much time into, but just kind of like to keep on theme of this podcast a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they may be literally like one of these that we talk about might very well literally be next week's episode that comes up. But what are some movies that just like off the top of your head is like we haven't done yet and we need to do? We can talk about because there's like just stuff we want to cover in the possible near future. Because immediately the two that come to my head is one that I still haven't watched, and I don't know why I've been holding off, and then now it's to the point it's like, well, then we should just cover it on the podcast so I get around to it. Late Night with the Devil, I haven't watched yet, and I need to watch that, so I think we should cover that very soon.
That will probably be next week's episode, because I have not seen it either, and Chris has seen it, and he liked it, so I think it's one we definitely have to cover. So
stay tuned till the feedback section of this, and then I guess we'll confirm whether or not that is what we're going to end up doing next week, because we'll record that later. Also, I think I'll probably post on Facebook. So as you're listening to this, I've already posted and you've already done this, if you did. But when I do like the little feedback post for this episode before it airs, I might have you guys just, instead of giving thoughts on a movie, since we're not doing a movie, is just ask any questions or like random things, and maybe if people ask some stuff or say some things, we'll respond and continue a little bit of this into the feedback section.
Yeah, we've never really like asked our listeners to send us questions, so this is the first time for everything, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So, you want to know what I'm looking forward to or what I think?
What we should cover. The other one that I had right off my head is because The Monkey is available widely enough now to cover, and we should do that as well.
Absolutely.
Stephen King adaptation, and the cast list on that one is just incredible. And
yeah, definitely.
We need to do it.
So one movie that we're going to cover for sure, there's a couple. One is Pontypool, and we're going to get Levi to come back and join us for that one.
Nice.
You've not seen it, but I think you'll really enjoy it. It's about a radio DJ, and yeah, it's quite interesting, and it fits our genre really well, and Levi suggested it, so as soon as they did, I put it on the list for this season.
Dope.
Plus, we need to get our friends Mark and Ben on to cover Godzilla vs. Kong.
Godzilla X Kong, I guess.
Godzilla X Kong.
The lettering of that new empire. Yeah, we still haven't done that. We haven't done Godzilla -1 with Mark either. That was supposed to be, I was gonna say last season, maybe even 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
It was like literally to the point in the works that like we had a date scheduled, and I was watching the movie and doing prep and doing notes. I have notes
Me
for
too.
-1 done. And then Mark had like a power outage or issue or something. And so he ended up just having to like do something different that week. And then we just never managed to reschedule. And so we keep trying to do that. So we will also have some more Godzilla stuff to do with Mark. Eventually, soon. We need to circle back to that.
Yeah, we've kind of talked to him again about it. He's let us know his availability. So it's on me. I've got to get us scheduled for it. But, Pake, there are also some new things coming out this year that I really am looking forward to. There's a little movie called 28 Years Later that's coming out in, I think, June. Also, coming out like a week after that one, Megan 2.0.
Mm-hmm. We'll definitely do that.
And I'm not sure if there's a date set for this, but I think it might be coming out in October. The Black Phone 2. Okay,
yeah. Which, I don't know what to expect from that one.
Yeah.
At all. I feel like that movie was pretty self-contained and wrapped itself up pretty well. I don't know if it's going to be like a completely different story with just that name, that title. and then taking a different direction with it, or if it is connected. Mason Thames is very busy doing a lot of other stuff right now, and then I don't know if you can bring Ethan Hawke back in any way. But yeah, so I don't know what to do with that, but I'm down for it because I really enjoyed that one. So,
well, according to what I've seen so far, it is the same cast, and it's written by the same people, Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, and directed by Derrickson as well. That usually bodes well for sequels, because getting the same people that were involved in the first film involved in film number 2 can definitely helps the situation. Yeah. We haven't covered any of the Final Destination films, but the prequel film is coming out this year. And you know how with The Purge we flipped things around and did it in a different order than when they were released. I'm thinking we could do the same thing with Final Destination. Maybe.
Could be fun, yeah. Which gets me that there's still like series of movies that we start and then we need to continue, because like more Purge stuff. We did just do one recently this season. But yeah, we still can get through those. And then I also was thinking, I was like, we haven't done Insidious. Originally, I was like, we haven't done Insidious the Red Door yet. And then I thought about it even more, and I went, actually, I don't think we've done any of them past 2. I still think we have 3 and Last Key to do before we even get to Red Door. So, like, we stopped on the Insidious stuff. We should probably get back to that sometime soon, too.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list, because we went and saw the Red Door together.
We did.
At the theater, yeah. And we haven't really done Conjuring. And they have another one that's coming out this year as well. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Also, as we're recording this, was just announced, I think like yesterday or something, the official date, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the sequel for that, which we probably won't cover it until early 2026. It'll probably be sometime early next year, but it's supposed to release in December this year. And we always wait. We don't cover stuff while it's in theaters necessarily. We wait till there's an at-home release for stuff, just because it is easier for you, the listeners, to access, whether it's on a streamer or at the very least it's something you can buy or rent digitally somewhere and have access to. Yeah.
That way you can kind of...
And also we can take our notes on it and pause and stuff like I mentioned earlier.
We've never tried to go to the theater, take notes, watch it. I mean, I think that the other people that have gone to the theater would probably get pissed at us for having our phones out taking notes.
I've done it once. I don't remember what it was. There's something I covered on some podcast show with Jason or something years and years ago. I think even before this podcast existed. I don't remember. Maybe a little before that. But I think there was one movie that I went to see it in theaters, and we were going to talk about it. And so, which, even if I wasn't doing this, I would buy these seats anyway. I always buy the very back row. And usually if I'm not in the middle, like right under the projector, then I go all the way to the far left or right, the side, and I like to like perch up in a little corner. And so that was easy for me because I'm going to take the back row in like a back corner anyway. So then it's easy for me to like dim the lighting on my phone and sit there, and there's nobody behind me that I'm going to piss off, and then I can kind of jot some stuff down. But I don't like to do that. Because, again, I can't pause it and I don't want to miss stuff, especially if I'm paying to go see it in a theater.
Exactly. Like, it's expensive and you want to be able to enjoy it. Plus, a lot of times I'll watch a movie twice before we cover it. And so in order to do that, I'm not going to go back and buy another ticket and watch it again.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. There are, some other movies. Another Silent Hill movie is coming out. That's another one. We've done none of those. There's also a movie coming out this month, which is Until Dawn, which I think could be a lot of fun.
Oh, we'll have to cover that for sure. I've played the game.
Yeah, and I've seen it, so I know.
Yeah,
I know the whole.
That'll be something to talk about for sure. Also, I was thinking, I know, because I pay some attention over all the years of us talking and stuff. A movie I know that absolutely haunted you in the past, and you were scared of in a former time. that we have not covered, and we probably won't get into all of the myriad of terrible, terrible sequels. But we, speaking of Stephen King earlier, we got to get into the Children of the Corn. We got to do the Children of the Corn, at least the first movie. Have to.
Oh.
I haven't seen it in such a long time, and a revisit for that would be great for this podcast.
The music in it is the chanting is enough too. And then, oh my God, Isaac, man. Yeah, probably not all the sequels, but maybe one or two.
Yeah.
Also, Samara Weaving is in a movie that's coming out or is out, Borderline. And that's a movie that fits our genre. I really like her.
Yeah.
She's so great. She's in one of my favorite movies that we've ever covered, Ready or Not. And they're going to make a sequel, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. A lot of stuff. Unless it was misinformation, but I don't think so. I think the title and loose, not synopsis as much as just kind of base of what it's supposed to be. The next Jordan Peele movie has been announced.
Ooh. Okay. Did they give any information at all?
So basically it's a sports horror film, which would be interesting. He likes playing with stuff. So not going to give, I guess this doesn't give too much away because it's still looks like September is what they're looking for. But again, and he loves the one word titles. The quick one. I mean, we got Get Out, which was 2, but then Us and then Nope. And this one is called Him. And the kind of quick premise synopsis is a promising young up-and-coming football player is invited to train at the isolated compound of a dynasty team's aging QB1. The legendary, almost retired quarterback takes his protege on a blood-chilling journey into the inner sanctum of fame, power, and the pursuit of excellence at any cost.
Oh.
So it's going to get real culty and stuff, I'm sure, and that's going to be fun.
It is. I'm in on whatever Jordan Peele is doing because he
absolutely
can tell a story in a way that no one else can. And so I'm always in on what he's trying to do. It's just so well thought out. There's also a movie called Thread, An Insidious Tale that is in production as well.
Nice.
It won't come out until 2026. But it's coming. So there's a lot to get excited about. I mean, there were some other sequels that we've talked about before.
Yeah, the one I think of, has there been any more information or was it dropped or anything? Because I know we were excited about an Attack the Block sequel that was in progress. I don't know if anything else has come of that.
So John Boyega and Joe Cornish were definitely down to be in it again. And I mean, we need it. I feel like we definitely need it. And so I'm actually going to see. It's just nothing has picked up. And that I want to catch up with our boys, like the ones that lived, so that we can see, what's going on. But yeah, it would be great if they did do that one. There was talk of a Greenland sequel, but I think that's dead in the water. As is the World War Z sequel that had been talked about too.
That's been back and forth and up and down for years.
Yeah, it has.
Uh-huh.
But I think we have a lot to look forward to. And then also going back to some oldies but goodies that you may not have seen. I mean, you talked about Children of the Corn. There are actually like 2 or 3 different versions of Children of the Corn. Ones that are based on his story. The one the one you're talking about from 1984, that one is not, it doesn't follow his story as closely as another one that I think came out in 2009. But I guess if you really want to, we can go back and cover the one that terrified me.
Could be fun.
It could. We could have a lot of fun with it.
A lot of good stuff. There's movies that we've talked that have been on our list since season 1 of this podcast that we just still haven't done. I think The Fly is something we have talked about since before we even started recording the first episode. Where it's like, what movies would we cover? And that one has just been kicked down the path for 8 seasons or whatever. So like so I think eventually we should do that. Maybe the like original, we go old, or like more Jeff Goldblum. I don't know, both. Who knows?
Double dip.
Have fun with that. Yes, that's when The Thing, both the John Carpenter original and then the like prequel one that came out several years later, could also be fun. But I think our friend Derek has been somebody we've wanted to try to do that one with.
Yes.
And
the timing didn't work out because
he's in Ireland.
He's in Ireland, and it's harder to get the timing down for it. But I think that we could. I think we could make it work, maybe. I really would love...
we can plan something.
I would love to do Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about a Buffalo reunion on Run for Your Lives. And several movies have come up as part of that.
Oh yeah, they've got to be something ridiculous though, so...
Yeah.
There's a lot of great ridiculous ones out there.
I think Squirm.
Squirm would be
For
fun.
real. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
It's got to be something funny, like the stuff. Like it's got to be campy.
Yeah.
So I feel like we got to do that.
Yeah, a lot of classic, iconic stuff. You know, like War of the Worlds, or even going back. You know, we had so much fun with like The Birds.
Yeah.
In the earlier season, do that. So even more Hitchcock. Like even go all the way back to like Psycho or something. Like do some more like classics. Could always be fun.
But I will tell you this. I don't think we should do a double dip of Psycho with the newer one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stick to the original.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
There are some movies we just are not going to do. Like Thanksgiving 3.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
Yeah, I'm good. We don't ever need to do that.
Definitely not doing that. There are some movies we're not touching.
Yep.
We still need to do The Wicker Man, which is another one of my favorites from the early 70s. I think Jason was going to come on to talk about that one with us because he loved Ari Aster's Midsummer, and I've been on the record that I did not.
Which I've always thought, because I wasn't particularly super fond of that movie either. I feel like I don't feel as strongly against it as maybe Daphne does, but I also, I don't know what I expected going into it when I saw it in theaters, and then it was like, it's just not the movie I thought it was going to be, and I don't know, I didn't care for it too much. There were some things I enjoyed. So with both of us being on like different levels, but still kind of on more of a negative end of that one, I have always thought that it would still be fun to cover on here, to kind of force ourselves to relive it and see. Because sometimes opinions on certain things do change for the better or worse, like whenever we break it down from a podcast point of view. So could be interesting.
It's true. It is true. Like The Ritual. I don't think my opinion's going to change. But it could. Maybe. But I feel like probably not. But we did figure out through the conversation we had about that movie once that my issue that I thought was, well, I don't like A24 movies. Well, it isn't that I don't like A24 movies. I don't really like Ari Aster movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yeah, A24 is so wide and varied. It's like, there's stuff in there. Because I remember when you said it's A24, I'm like, all right, hang on. Because if I pull up a list of everything that A24 has produced, it's like, I can find some movies in that list that I know you like. Like, hang on a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, so we figured it out. It's Ari Aster. Yeah. I'm just not a fan. Did not like Midsummer. Did not even go near Beau is Afraid because it looked insane. Yeah, not an Ari Aster fan, and I'm okay with it. Definitely fine with it.
So I think, we'll talk and stuff, but like part of it is, we kind of had a look forward special in a way of like, but very loose, instead of us like having to come up with a list in advance. It's like just what's on your head and what we kind of brainstorm at the time. And
yeah. It kind of put me on the spot because at first I was thinking, does he want me to tell what is coming out that I want to watch and cover? Or is it movies that are on our list that we've talked about covering and haven't gotten to? Remember Boggy Creek when we finally did that one after your dad suggested it, like 2 or 3 years prior?
Yeah. That one took a little bit.
And we covered it. We had a blast with it. It was a lot of fun. It was different.
Probably the only episode of this podcast my dad did and probably ever will listen to, but he did.
I hope he liked it. I hope we did it justice. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
We had a good discussion.
Yeah. I still need, one of the last times I saw him, we were talking about that again. I was like, we still need to take a trip up to Fouke, Arkansas. It's like, it's not too far of a drive. Go to the Fouke, the Monster Museum and stuff. And he was like, let's do it.
He said it scared him. Like, it was a movie that scared him. Yeah. Some of the movies that are from the 70s they're scary in a different way. Especially if it's kind of like found footage or recreations or making it seem like it's a real thing. Like, I remember a movie we haven't covered yet, The Blair Witch Project.
As you started that thought, I was like, that's another one of those that just like iconic in the zeitgeist kind of movies that we haven't done yet. Is because I can already see, we need to do Blair Witch. Not even just for the movie itself, but then I know we'll have a conversation about just the whole cultural phenomena that surrounded it at that time, you know?
Yeah. And I have a friend who wrote a book about it. Oh, nice. And he also takes people on an experience every October. They go to Burkittsville. Sounds like
we have a guest co-host for that episode.
Yeah.
Try to get him on.
He's also my friend who was very into Dawn of the Dead, the original. But he's got a relationship too with the people in the town, and because he's really respectful of the whole phenomenon. Because you can imagine the number of people who just descended upon that town and still do.
Yeah.
And he's got a really good relationship with the people in the town from being very respectful. People
who just trespass onto grounds to take photos and videos of filming locations. I say, as the person who definitely snuck onto private property to get pictures and videos of the house and barn from A Quiet Place.
Yes,
but you know,
you did. I've seen those photos. I've heard the stories. Our friend Mark used to live near that house. Mm-hmm. Doesn't anymore, but he used to live near that house, and so that worked out so that you could go and do some photo ops.
Mm-hmm. There's some of the like sand trails from like the door and out that like they would walk on in the movie to be quiet, like we're still there. So like I have a little video of me just like walking the like sand pathway to the door. Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, were you barefoot?
Cool moment. No, I did have my shoes on. But yeah, it was fun because we watched A Quiet Place. I mean, I'd already seen it. I went and saw it in theaters and I'd watched it several times, but yeah, we watched it at Mark's house that night, like before. We watched it and then got up early the next morning before like traffic or anything ever. We went down there, and so it was cool to like have just watched the movie the night before and then get up super early and then go out and investigate and go look at some of the spots. It was really cool.
It sounds like a ton of fun. Mm-hmm. We've never hit up any spots, but I feel like we haven't really gone to locations where there was anything to look at. I know when I ended up missing the meetup in San Francisco, I really wanted to go at least by the building where they shot the exterior for the Towering Inferno. Mm-hmm. But I ended up missing that trip, so I didn't get to do it. But yeah.
See, with San Francisco, we did Alcatraz. I mean, it's its own thing through, actual just human history. But then also there's been movies and stuff, action movies, Escape from Alcatraz and all kinds of stuff. But then, of course, my whole thing is I'm walking around going like, oh my God, it's one of my favorite Tony Hawk levels in real life. That's what I think of. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
Tony Hawk is a good human.
Mm-hmm. He is. He really is. We have a mutual friend. A good friend of mine is good friends with Tony, and
yeah,
he's a really, really, really good dude. But yeah, we had a little tangent, but yes, that was like being in Alcatraz and being like, I remember that. I was like pointing out, I was like, I would grind that rail and I would hit that thing. And then like going, it's like, well, where are the ramps? Where's the half pipe set up in there? Those aren't there. What happened to them? Where'd they go? No.
I don't know what to tell you.
So that was like I don't know, speaking of, like, Podcastica, I know if others that listen to all of our shows and the shows that we plug at the end, you know that The Bear is a show that is covered here on Podcastica.
Yes.
And that's a big plan. We talked about doing Chicago in October is going to the Beef.
Yeah, and we're planning we're going to do it. Pake and I have other places we're going to hit up while we're there, but that's one of the places. And maybe I should watch The Bear before we go.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend it. It's a great show.
I heard it's very intense, though. I don't know, Pake.
It is.
I mean, I don't know that I care for intense shows.
Yeah, we don't want...
Wait a minute. Yeah. Yellow Jackets, The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, I podcast on a few of them.
Intense in a different way.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, it's a kitchen, right? And they're trying to prepare food and get it looking a certain way and tasting a certain way. And
yeah. It's especially that first season is just a clusterfuck of stress.
Yeah.
You just feel the stress that they're going through, and you're like,
Yeah.
Like, should a TV show be giving me heart palpitations for the other characters in the show? I don't know.
Probably not. I mean, we do try to watch shows to like relax. But that isn't so one, I guess, that I would watch to relax. I gotta be in the right frame of mind for it. That's for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to do that. There's some other places we're going to go. Lots of fun stuff. Not anything really is planned other than the dates. So we kind of have the dates and the location. And yeah, that's it. There's more to come.
Past that, just kind of decide what we want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Beef. Got to go to like Millennium Park and go to the Bean for those who haven't done that yet.
I've been there.
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it. It's cool. Like, and it's definitely one of those things. Like, if there's people in the group that haven't done it, then yes, we have to do it because it's a great photo op location for group photos for sure. The Wiener Circle is always a place to go if I'm in Chicago.
Well, you know where I have to go.
We got to go to the museum, go see Sue.
Have to. Like,
Absolutely.
I've been to Chicago a couple of times and have not seen her, and I feel like it's a definite. I have to do it.
I've done it, and it's awesome. It's really cool. So we'll definitely go on that adventure with you in that time. We'll do that. That'll be great.
Excellent. I need that. I want to do
I'll go visit my girl, Sue, again.
Sue. Oh, man.
Haven't seen her in a while. It'd be good to go back and go do it.
I don't know that she's changed a lot since the last time you were there.
Probably not. just hanging around. She hasn't been up to much.
Nope.
Lazy bones.
And don't forget, we have to go. Is it Pro Wrestling Tees?
Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, we have to go there.
Gotta go down there. For sure.
That's probably not something that everyone in the group's going to want to do.
No, but that's a me and you trip.
We're doing that. Yeah. Well, I think we've had a great conversation. I hope that our listeners have enjoyed it. Again, we like to do these episodes every once in a while, especially when our schedules get really crazy.
Yeah. So we might be doing these not all the time, but yeah, more often is, as we talked about a lot on this, like trips and busy stuff throughout the year. And then I've got concerts and stuff. Of course, usually it's just like if a concert happens on like a Wednesday night, the night before, I'm supposed to be trying to prep for this stuff. So it's dependent on the week because I'm going to another concert in like 2 weeks, but it's a Tuesday and we can move stuff around and I can, by Thursday, I'll be recovered and ready to go.
Yeah.
So we can.
And we have a couple of episodes banked, but we don't like to use them up, especially because, as you said, this summer, we're going to need them then. So
yeah.
this
yeah,
works
summer
out
and
better.
fall and getting into that was like a whole week that we're just like preoccupied in Dallas. It'll be a whole week. I'll be in Colorado. We'll have a whole like extended weekend in Chicago. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Lots of fun stuff to look forward to. The next 6 months, I think, are just going to be great. Tons of fun things to do. And when you go to Meow Wolf, I can't wait to see the photos.
Yeah.
Be tons of fun. You and Riley will have a blast there.
I think so. And I know that Denver, at least I've seen it, can be pretty handicap accessible because, again, the friend that I mentioned who is friends with Tony Hawk, the reason him and Tony got to know each other is because my friend has a son with special needs, his like autism and cerebral palsy, does sit and stuff too. And Tony's like his Uncle Tony. He's like taking him out to like events and stuff he's done, and super cool. He's great with him. But then, yeah, I've seen videos and photos of them at Denver Meow Wolf and rolling him around in his stroller and stuff. So I was like, yeah, like they can get him around, then
you can get Riley around. Riley's gonna love it because it's so cool. Like what I've seen so far, just little pictures, it just looks so cool and fun. So you guys are gonna have a blast.
So it should be fun. That's it for now. We can wrap this up. Maybe again, if I remember to post asking for questions or comments or anything, maybe some of you will have some stuff for us, and we'll get to that in feedback that we'll record at a later date for us. But stick around. It'll just be a few seconds for you. That's fun. As for me, in this time, in the timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly construct that is time when we record this, I'm going to get out of here so I can probably just go watch more Dimension 20.
All right.
So it is the feedback section now. We usually would be taking some calls from the feedback phone, but there was no movie this week, of course, as we talked about a little bit earlier. But through the power of time travel, we do have some questions from some listeners and some friends, as I hoped that they would, and some people came through, so that's awesome. So we'll just kind of go through those and see what people sent in. I haven't looked at all of them. But yeah, we'll have fun with it. It's not even like a back and forth necessarily. I don't know. How do we start this? Where do we go?
Well, let's start with the first question. That's probably the right place to start.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. I just don't know who reads it.
Okay. So whoever reads the question has to answer first. And I'm going to take the first one.
Okay.
So Megan sent in, what movies would you most like to go back in time and be an extra in? I know it's not going to come as a shock to anyone that I would pick Jurassic Park.
Same. Because of all like just the practical dinosaur mechanics and stuff. Like, yeah, it'd be really cool to just be there in that. And then outside of this genre of this podcast, then any of the Star Wars movies. Honestly.
Really?
I'd love to be a Star Wars extra, just to be in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Jurassic. It's got to be Jurassic Park. Maybe Jurassic World because the Mosasaurus and Rexy and all of that. It would be very, very cool. But I don't think
people saw any of that. That's past a lot of the practical effects for that one.
That is true. That is true. But I love the whole thought of Jurassic Park and being in the world of Stan Winston.
Yeah.
Be freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no question there.
Yeah. All right. Jason sent in one as well. Oh man, and he's trying to get us all like mushy. What is he going? What is this nonsense? He says, "What are your 3 favorite things about each other?"
Oh boy!
And I'm trying to decide if I want to be like actually like wholesome or jokey. Maybe both.
I figured you'd be jokey, but it would be awesome if you were wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great if you were wholesome.
I'm trying not to put too much thought into any of these, so it's really just off the dome.
Yeah.
I'll say you're incredibly supportive and understanding. Like, if I have something that's, like, going on that's, like, tough, or, like, if I need something, you're always the person like, of course I understand. and like nothing is like shocking, or it's like if I'm having like a hard time or with anything, you're like, yep, no, I get it, or like you just, even if it's not something you directly like relate to, you can be supportive and be empathetic, and so I appreciate that. I had another one that was like serious. Had it, and then it went bye-bye.
Find it, because I want to know.
I mean, like, easy to talk to. Definitely fits in the, like, kind of with supportive, but even on just like stupid stuff, like I have to drag myself off of Zoom sometimes because we can sit here for 3 hours and just like go down rabbit holes of music videos and talking about the most inane nonsense. So yeah, easy to just like have a conversation with, and very friendly and easygoing, easy to get along with. And then lastly, very easy to trick into getting into things that I also like, so I can talk to somebody about it, because whether it's music or wrestling or like tabletop role-playing games or dropout stuff of any kind, like if I'm really into something and I need somebody else to be into it to talk to about it, you're almost a sure bet that I can get you there.
So you're saying I'm gullible?
No, gullible's not the word. No, I wouldn't say gullible's the word, because it is legit things that I have interest in that I think you also would. But manipulative sound, or easily manipulated sounds like a bad way to go with it too. In a positive way? I don't know.
And that ties to the second one, and the reason it ties to the second one is because the reasoning for why we're on Zoom for 3-4 hours is because you've gotten me into these other things, and we can't stop talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It all ties together, right?
Yeah, whether we're talking about wrestling or like watching music videos or planning kids on bikes, like D&D type stuff. Yeah, it's all.
Or the next wrestling adventure.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So I guess it's my turn. None of those were jokey. Those were very serious, I think. That's cool. Okay, so 1, even if I've had the crappiest day ever, you make me laugh, and you won't stop until you make me laugh, because you know that I've had a bad time with something. You will be relentless in laughing and coming up with jokes and saying things in funny voices just to get me to laugh and get me out of it. And sometimes I really need that to like get pulled out of where I might just retreat into my head, and you'll be able to pull me out of it. You know, like what to do to pull me out of it. And that's a gift, because not many people can do that. Even when you're super busy because you have so many things going on, if I message you and say, hey, I need to talk for like a little bit and just get some things off my chest or whatever, or just to vent or whatever, or if I'm going through a hard time and I need to talk about it, you always make time. And I really, really appreciate that. And I honestly love that you have such a kind heart and you're so passionate about doing good things for other people and putting good out into the world. And I think it's amazing. And this was all very sappy.
Thanks, Jason. It's supposed to be funny haha podcast. Not really, but also kind of. I bring that flavor to anything I do. It doesn't matter what it is, I think.
You do. Yeah, your sense of humor is just, it's great. I mean, the voices, what you do. We had Elmo on once. I mean, it's just so much fun.
It's like, this isn't Buffalo, but also, like, I could never do this podcast fully serious either, because that's just boring. Who wants that?
No. We have to do things in a fun way. Some movies are more serious, and we have taken a more serious approach to it, but we have to have fun with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This next one is interesting. Do you ever have trouble choosing the bad guy path in video games? And have either of you tried black tar, heroin? They thank you, Randy, for that.
It comes from Randy.
It's very creative.
So my answers are yes and no. The short, video games, yeah. I'm too empathetic sometimes. I don't like to be the bad guy. I'm trying to be like, they're like, because I'm like, no, let me play a character and not just me. But then it always ends up being, what would I actually do in this situation? Then I'm like, everybody's redeemable. Me. So yeah, no, that's me. I don't like to be the bad guy. And then yeah, Black Tar Hair would never had the honor. No, I'm kidding. No, not interested. Honestly,
nope. So I do play some games, and most of the games I play don't have a bad guy that you can play, except in Dead by Daylight, and I hardly ever play as the bad guy. In a story game, I probably would have a problem with playing the bad guy just because I don't want to be the bad guy. I want to be the hero. But I will say, recently I've wanted to go in and play as the killer in DBD more than I do.
Uh-huh.
Just been a little more agitated, I guess.
Man, I have a really good example and story of me being so conflicted by villain paths in a game, but it's Last of Us related, and with season 2 airing right now, I can't talk about that game. I can't give those examples because it's something very specific that you are faced with having to do in that game, and then it's but then they're going to do that on the show, so I'm not going to spoil it for people.
Exactly. I know. We don't want to spoil anything for anyone, so. I have to always ask now, did you watch the episode? Did everyone in the Zoom room watch the episode? Because I don't want to spoil anything. And sometimes you just want to vent about it or rant or say something, and yeah. Just have to say that.
And then this last section... our good friend Levi from Talking Tremors podcast gave us a long list of questions. So I think just rapid fire. We'll go through them as fast as we can. Just first things come to mind. And a lot of them are really silly because Levi's good at that. They're really good at just silliness anyway.
Yes.
Me and Levi can mesh on the silly goofiness. So
you definitely do.
So yeah, we'll go through them. Who wants to start? I guess I will, since you read that last one.
Yeah. So
the first one is FMK, your Buffalo co-host. And of course, for those who don't know, that means feed message night. I've decided. Who would you take out for a good dinner? Who would you text right now something funny? And who would you knight or king and put in charge of an important role?
Oh my god. That is not what they meant. But I'm okay with it, Pake. I'm good with it.
That's what I'm going to take it as, and that's what I'm going to do, because I did decide on that one. I'm going to... So, the feed... Let's see. I'm going to go with Jerry.
Absolutely.
Because I've actually taken you to more local spots and stuff. I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody that I haven't had a chance to do that with, that I would love the opportunity, is to take Jerry around for some really good food spots. Message would be you, because I can't always just send you something the most ridiculous, and I'd probably just get a rise or an eye roll out of you, and so I do that anyway. And so then night, I will just put Jeff over the realm of punnery. He can be the pun knight.
That is very similar probably to what I would do. Because Jerry, I feel like there's so many places and he's such a foodie. And I did take you to a few places when you were up here before. I'd love to take you to more because I know that you're such a foodie and you would be totally into it. But I feel like I would have to do it with Jerry because he's also into food and different things. But who do I put as defender of the realm, basically? That is the question. I feel like I can send you funny stuff. And even if it's not funny, you won't judge me. But I feel like knighting is a very, very important thing. So you know what? I'm going to have to do this. Jeff is going to get the message, but you are going to be the knight of the realm with the punnery. You have to be. You have to be. If you could live in any fictional world, which one?
So many to choose from, but a lot of my favorites also come with a certain level of danger because they're like those kind of crazy like sci-fi and video game TV show worlds that are so different than our own, but then a lot of those come with adventures that are all dangerous, and I actually don't want anything to do with that. So
you don't want to go into the Resident Evil realm? Yeah.
So what would be like, pardon me, again, I'm going back to like as the extra question. I feel like the Star Wars universe, but I don't need to be in any of like the crazy places where all of the like the Clone Wars and all this shit is happening. It's like, no, just let me be in some like Outer Rim world with like a really cool like little like setting and a like nice little community, and then I'm good there.
I don't think you get to choose.
Keep the Empire far away from me.
I was thinking maybe like Skeleton Crew land where, you know, before everything changed, maybe it would be kind of calm. Oh, it's, Again, most of the stuff that I really enjoy is really dark. And so it's really hard to pick a place. But, you know, I think I'm pretty smart. And I think, honestly, I'm going to go with Isla Sorna, Isla Nublar. Take me back to the dinosaurs. I feel like I know enough to stay safe in that situation. I'm not going to go to the bathroom in outhouses in the middle of, you know, a fenced-in area. Yeah, that'd be totally fine. You haven't pulled me into wanting to be in the Star Wars realm with you.
That's okay. You can get eaten by a dinosaur on your own time.
I'm not. Because I can't think of any other place. Like, yeah, I think that, it's got to be that. Crazy, probably, for some people. But for me, no.
So, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you? Levi. You gotta... on the spot, I gotta think about stuff. That one's a tough one. I have a lot of weird stuff happen to me. Actually, so then, because I don't know if I've mentioned this one to you. No, one of the weirdest is just like, again, the crazy, because again, I'm here in Texas, and so several years ago, me and Riley, that I take care of, were in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Yes.
Of all places.
This is great.
Walking around at Garden of the Gods. So, I mean, what's the distance between here and there? 12, 15 hours? I don't know. Something ridiculous. It's a 2-day drive, honestly, for us. And we're walking around out at Garden of the Gods, and some little kid walks up to us and goes, "Hey, you look like Riley." And it was like, he is. And me and the other person that was with me were like, "How do you know?" And it just happened to be some another kid from here in this town here in Texas, and that with his family was also on vacation in Colorado at the same time.
You never expect for things like that to happen. You don't. Well, I'm definitely going to go with Ruby Rose. Getting out of the car, Ruby Rose is right there in front of us.
And she was so nice.
Yeah.
Because I was like, should I go up and say something to her? And I was like, I'm going to, and I hope it... And then she was like, so friendly and so kind and like really funny. And we just had like a quick little conversation. Then I left her to her friends. But yeah, because I think she was there. I ended up going, I did a little like snooping a little bit on like Instagram later. I was like to see if she'd taken any pictures around there and like tagged the people she was with. Because I was like, who are those people she's hanging out with? And like, I think it was like her girlfriend at the time. And then it was the, Matt Cutshall or something. He's viral on like Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, for doing like the emo's not dead. He does like puts on a black wig and does all these like emo songs and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, I know that guy. And it was like the owner of Truff Hot Sauce was the other person that was with her. Like,
oh my god!
I was like, that's just crazy.
A person,
yeah,
of your own heart.
I know.
You're a huge fan of Truff.
Yeah.
I'm not answering the next question. Not doing it, so I'm going.
Have you ever pooped your pants? I will ask it. Yes. I mean, not recently, but like in the extent of my lifetime, yes. Moving on.
Well, it's what happens. I mean, it's an obvious question. Okay. I love this question. You've made pro wrestlers. What are your names? I already have a name. I played this character in an episode of Welcome to the Apocalypse. Her name is Fiera Sparks, or Fiera Sparks, and she's amazing.
Yes. I would be a heel wrestler. My gimmick would be real sketchy British filmmaker, and I would be the wrestler Edgar Wrong.
Oh my god. Did not know that's where it was going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's scarier, ghosts or graboids?
Graboids.
You think so?
Ghosts just want to be your friend.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's Casper. Casper's cool.
Yeah, okay. That's not who I'm thinking of, so I'm going with ghosts. Graboids, at least you know they're under you. You can see them rumbling. Ghosts, no. Some ghosts can be terrifying.
Would you rather jump out of a plane or explore the Mariana Trench? Plane. Because I'm not going
Mariana
underwater.
Trench.
I'm not going underwater.
You're not going underwater.
Mm-mm.
Why not?
I'll take the plane.
I don't want to go underwater or in a plane, but Mariana Trench, come on. Could be fun. Even though in every movie I've ever seen about it, something bad happens. Right. So it's a problem.
So what is love? That is a score of 0 in a tennis game.
Isn't it also the name of a song?
I'm sure.
Yeah. A really famous song. What is Love is a song. Was in A Night at the Roxbury.
Yes, I am aware of that song.
Yeah.
Are they just stating the name of a song?
I don't know.
It reminds me of one of the stupidest jokes is why you never date a tennis player. Just because
Tell
it
me
means
why.
nothing to them.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm not sure how to answer that question. I feel like it would take longer than we have.
Yep.
So maybe we'll come
this is
back
rapid
to
fire.
that. Yeah. You have 24 hours to live. What do you do?
The serious but also rapid fire version question is literally just try to make time for everybody that I hold closest. So whether it's trying to spend time in person, but honestly, even if it's just phone calls and messages and just touching base with everybody and just like making sure everything is like good. And then I'd probably try to set myself in a place that like, you know, get up super early or whatever to do all that as quick as I can. And then just like be in a place or like doing a thing that I love the most, whatever that would be at the time.
That really sounds like the right thing, I think. Yeah. That'll be my answer too.
All right.
What's your favorite holiday?
Honestly, Christmas. I just love Christmas season. Even though it gets more and more stressful the older I get, it's still great.
I like Christmas, but I also like Halloween because I think it's fun for all the spooky stuff. And it's very cool because all the newer horror movies come out at that time, like all the biggest ones that are coming out, even the ones that don't end up being very good. So, yeah, Christmas or Halloween.
Mm-hmm. So, what's your favorite comedy film? I'm going to say Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. It's my favorite movie of all time, and it counts as a comedy. It's definitely a comedy.
Yeah, for me, it's Shaun of the Dead. Because it is a comedy, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
That or Hot Fuzz. Like, I feel like both of them are just, they're hilarious. I love them. If you could travel to any point in history, where are you going first?
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy, like, historical things. I go way back into the annals of time, but honestly, just, I think the easiest, but, like, most entertaining for me answer, I'm going to Wembley, and I'm going to Live Aid, and I'm seeing Queen.
Oh my god, how can you take my answer? You knew I was going to go there.
No, it makes sense that you would, yeah.
Yeah,
but not just them, just that the whole thing, just everything that was there, yeah.
Absolutely, Live Aid. My God. It's iconic.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Then how do you know when you're finished? When you're done. When you've stopped. I don't... When you press stop recording.
Yep, when you press stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know you're finished. What's the best series finale of a TV show?
Just series finale. Again, just first thing that jumps into my head, because I could give different answers for this at different times probably, but Schitt's Creek. I cried so much, but also was so joyful through that whole finale. That
finale was amazing. But I have to go with 6 Feet Under, which I know you haven't finished the series, but it's so great. You have to get through it so that you can... I'm glad that Levi asked us the best and not the worst, because I don't want to drag down some of the great shows that could have been better.
Let's see, when is the best time of day? Between midnight and 2 a.m.
Why are you taking my answers? Like, during the pandemic, my sleep schedule got all mixed around, and I feel like my, most creative time is, between 11 and 1 or 12 and 2. Mm-hmm. So it's really... It is. You have full control of Tremors. What story are you making? Levi, this podcast is only a certain amount of time. Right. Do you really want Pake and I to, unload everything we would do? Because it could go on for a little while.
Yeah. I'm finally doing the Australian graboids.
Really?
And Bert's coming back.
Because you really can't...
And he's teaming up with Val. We're bringing back in Kevin Bacon. But John Heater's also there.
Has to be.
Travis is also there. I'm bringing in everybody.
And you know that I'm not into the romance of it all. Could we get...
Oh, Finn's getting cast.
Can we get a Reba McEntire?
And Reba's coming back for sure.
Please? Because that is my goal.
Yes.
Is for, a Bert and Heather reunion at the end of the final Tremors movie.
100%.
Because that's my story I want to tell. Is them spending time getting reacquainted and coming back together at the end of the whole series. That's what I would do. Because she was fierce. Mm-hmm. Do you hear what I hear? Right now, what I hear is a microwave in the background and a cat digging.
So probably no.
No.
How has your year been so far? Honestly, way too fast, but really good.
Yeah. I've done a lot of things that I wanted to do.
It shouldn't already be April, but, no. It's been good. I've been enjoying it, I guess.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun, right? So I guess this year has already gone by. I'm still getting used to the fact that it's 2025, but we're already almost halfway there.
I know. It's gone way too fast. And I've done a bunch of things I want to do already, but then I also have great plans for this summer and fall. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. I think it's going to be great. There are things, yes, that are not quite as fun right now, but I'm trying to balance it with things that bring me a lot of joy. Like doing this podcast. Are you worried about the imminent collapse of America?
More and more every day.
Yes. Nothing really more to say about it. Absolutely.
Yep. Let's see. What's your favorite dessert? Of all time, a incredible, slightly boozy tiramisu. Something that if I wanted it, I could get. Well, not right now because it's 11 o'clock at night, but tomorrow. Is a local Latin bakery called Lemon Yellow here. Has the best tres leches cake, and that's usually my go-to.
We spent time the other night going through that menu, and yeah, it's all to die for. For me, it's got to be... Okay. Either a chocolate or peanut butter pie from Emporium. Because it's really, really decadent. It's probably the best pie that I've ever had other than my grandmother's homemade pie. Can you tell the order of these questions was meant to mess with you? Nope.
Maybe. There's some serious ones and then other funny ones, so...
Yeah.
You're just throwing a lot of everything at us, but you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's messing with us as much as, like, it's fun.
It's fun. We could have done a whole podcast with people sending us questions and that.
Yeah.
Let's remember that for the future.
Yeah. So, why are questions harder than answers? Well, I'd give you an answer to that, but it's too hard. So I'll answer with a question because those are easier?
Are questions easier? I don't know. And the last one is, can you say this?
This.
Well, if you'd like to submit feedback, normally that is what we usually do, is we have feedback for our episodes. But this episode was a little bit different, and I've had fun with it. I think it was cool to do something different like this and then have people send in questions. But if you'd like to submit feedback for any of our upcoming or previous episodes, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Run For Your Lives Podcast, or you can email us at runforyourlivespodcast@gmail.com. You can go to runforyourlivespodcast.com for all the links you'll ever need. If you're enjoying the show, tell your friends. We are available on all the podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. If you feel so inclined, give us a review on Apple Podcasts, as that is the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely we do. Of course, speaking of sharing the love, going to give those shout-outs to things going on in the Podcastica universe around us and beyond. Also, because it's been going so long, I'm going to try to rapid-fire this one as well a little bit. Lots of great stuff in Podcastica. Of course, for The Last of Us, I think last week I said that they were getting screeners and dropping stuff on Sundays. That is not the case, I don't believe. So because Last of Us is not handing out screeners to people. Not even new rock stars on YouTube could get on past the first episode. As far as I know. So I think they're recording on Mondays first thing, and they're coming up like on Tuesday or something. But definitely be following along with The Last of Us now that season 2 has officially dropped. That first episode was incredible. So check out Eric and Jason covering that over on The Cast of Us. And then, so they'll have the episodes up as soon as possible on Tuesday morning. And then they'll record a separate feedback episode for everybody to get their thoughts in and stuff later in the week. So be checking that out. Also, Yellow Jacket, season 3 is done, but there's one more big feedback episode of that coming next week.
Yes.
Daphne knows all about that. She's talking with Wendy and Jason there.
Yeah, so if you have feedback on the season, please send it in to us, because we are recording, I think, on Tuesday. So you have until then to get your feedback in. We're going to close out our Yellow Jackets coverage with that feedback episode. Yeah.
But even though you are done with Yellow Jackets, that doesn't mean you're done with other Podcastica things, because you guys all just rolled right into Handmaid's Tale with the new season of that now airing.
Yep. We just recorded season 6, episode 4. Wendy and I were joined by Amy of the podcast Little Miss Recap. She is super fun. We had such a great discussion with her. And yeah, she's now part of the Zedheads. So It's great to have her with us.
Of course, other great shows to check out on Podcastica as well. The Wheel of Time on season 3. So episode 7 is up this week. Greg and Veronica covering that. Also, The White Lotus has been running in season 3 as well. Jenny, Randy, and Jason covering that on Welcome to the White Lotus. So you can go check out news and feedback and stuff of that. And I think that season has wrapped. So
it has.
Last little feedback episode and stuff there. So they've kind of wrapped that up. And if you haven't listened to any of that coverage, go back and check out the whole season and go check out their coverage, because they do a great job with that show.
That is the one show that everyone tells me I need to be watching.
I'd say it's great, but I mean, I've still only watched the first season. I can catch up myself. But yeah, a lot of great stuff to watch. Of course, Daredevil has finished its run, so you can go back and check out the Marvel TV cast for the coverage of that entire run as well. A lot of great stuff on Podcastica. But then also, as I say, beyond, go check out our friend Mark's network, the Pirate Core Entertainment Podcast Network. As he puts out some fun stuff, he covered Daredevil over there on Panels to Pixels. And then they've got the What's On Tonight podcast on that network with Becky and Mandy, as they've been covering The Pit. The finale of that is this week, so you can go check out that episode. Plus, they have an interview with Crystal McNeil, who played Kiara, the social worker, on this season of The Pit, so you can go check out that as well. Yeah, a lot of great stuff. We give a shout out to our friends over at TV Podcast Industries as well, who covered all of Daredevil Born Again. And they are also covering The Last of Us now that that is out. So you can check their coverage over there at TV Podcast Industries. And lastly, because I've been talking forever, Buffalo, still running, still going strong, still having a lot of fun. If you want more of me and Daphne, with our friends Jeff and Jerry, trying to make each other laugh, be ridiculous, and play silly games. We're having a good time with it. So you can always go check that out as well. But after you've listened to all those wonderful shows, watched all those wonderful shows, you know you got to come right back here to Run for Your Lives next week, because we'll have something fresh. And we got a movie for you next week, so don't worry. Daphne, what are we doing?
So next week, we are going to cover Oz Perkins' 2025 film, The Monkey. It's a black comedy horror film, according to Wikipedia, but I don't know that that's... Would you classify it as that, Pake?
It was definitely, dark comedy for sure.
Yeah.
Very funny in a lot of ways that people as disturbed as me find funny.
Yeah. It's basically about these twins who have their lives turned upside down by a toy monkey.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. It's a newer movie, so definitely something fun to check out. Available all around the places. So yeah, check it out. Watch The Monkey and hit us with some feedback, because we'll have some of that next week from you, hopefully.
And thanks to everyone who sent in questions this week. We really appreciate it. It's always fun when we try to do a different type of episode. And this was the first time we actually asked people to send in questions, and a few people came through for us, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we can do again. With that, we've reached the end of another fun episode, I think. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.